Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Policing and Public Services. I'm Claire Fazey and I am the head for Policing and Public Services at the college, and I am joined this evening with two of the course lecturers, Debs Davis and Carrie Trahan. Debs, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Claire. I've been with the college. This is my first year, and I was before that a police officer for 26 to 27 years, and then before that in the military. So I've got a lot of experience to offer the college, and this is the first year I've been running the new policing course.
Thanks, Debs. Carrie, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thanks, Claire and Debs. My name's Kerry. I've been in the college for about 4 years now, worked in another department, but moved over to the public services as I have background in the British Army, which I use within the course. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so please, any questions that you would like to ask us, please ask them and put those questions in the chat box. So first of all, we'll start with a question about the entry qualifications for the course. So Debs, would you like to start with the entry qualifications for the policing course, please?
Yep. So we like our policing students to have 5 GCSEs, grade 4 or above, including English and maths, because that really allows them to concentrate on the subject matter that's necessary to become a police officer.
Okay, thank you. Carrie, would you like to go through the entry requirements for the Level 3 Uniform Public Services course, please?
Yes, so the Level 3 Uniform Public Services course, the 2-year course, you also do need to have grade 4 and above, 5 GCSEs, English or maths, so you do have the opportunity to take one or the other if you do not pass along the course as well, which does not include extra days, it's within your course.
Okay, and we also offer a Level 2 qualification. So one of the questions that has been posed is about what happens if I don't get the entry requirements, could I get onto another course? So as well as our Level 3 courses, we also offer a Level 2 programme. So that programme has a provision for maths and English. So we're looking for our students to get, for the entry requirements for that course is 4 GCSEs, including maths and English at grade 3 or above. If you don't get those grades for the Level 2 course, then we do also have a Level 1 provision in the college that we could put you onto a Level 1 course, and then you could progress once you've got your maths and English grades up. You could then progress onto the Level 2 public services in the following year. So there is a provision whatever your GCSE starting grades are with us, there is a provision there for you within the college. We would be able to find you something that linked to the course, and then you would then be able to progress onto the Level 2 course, and then Level 3, or you may be able to just come in directly to the Level 3 if you've got those GCSE grades. We also have a question about Level 2 units. Carrie, would you like to go through some of the Level 2 units, please?
Yes, of course. So we do have a physical fitness unit. Obviously, in the uniform service, physical fitness is very important regarding whatever job you do. If you were to join the prison service, the police, the army, physical fitness is going to be part of your role. So we learn about that, and you will be taking part in practical fitness sessions as well as classroom-based assignments. We also have equality, diversity and inclusion, which we are very passionate about at West Suffolk College. We like to ensure that everybody has an equal opportunity and understand their rights, and also how to treat people fairly, as is very important in uniform services. Would you like me to explain any more, Claire?
I can go on with some of the others if you like.
Okay.
So we also do careers we cover that on the Level 2 course as well as on the Level 3 course. So we look at careers and the entry requirements and what is needed for the entry requirements into those uniform public services. And that is also a unit on the policing course. We look at the entry requirements into the policing. We cover a unit on volunteering. So this is specifically on the level 2 course. At the moment we do a unit on volunteering, so looking at the opportunities and the skills that you can develop from volunteering. Kerry's obviously mentioned physical fitness. Another important skill to learn is teamwork and problem solving, so that is incorporated into one of the units that we do on the level 2 course. We then have health and safety. Because the jobs we're looking at in the public services, they can be quite dangerous jobs, so health and safety is an important element of that. We also look at health and hygiene, because again, you could be out living in the field for long periods of time, you could be living away, so we look at health and hygiene and how to control infections. So with the current situation, that gives us quite a lot in our topic to look at, as well as stress. We also look at service routines. So that is another unit. So we look at drill and the reason and the importance for service routines. Kerry's mentioned about the equality and diversity, and then the final unit that we are covering this year on the course is map and compass. So we're looking about how to use a map, how to use a compass, and to navigate routes. So that means we get out and about, and there's some elements, practical elements to that. So hopefully that answers the questions about the units on the level 2. Debs, perhaps you'd like to cover some of the units, please, that we cover on the level 3 programme for policing.
So lots of what's already been mentioned is embedded into the level 3 policing course, but we do specialise in certain areas that are purely based around policing itself, and they are obviously crime investigation. We look at the criminal justice system and criminal law, and then we touch on crime scene analysis and crime scene management. So the students get a real insight into how a crime is investigated. And the courses really run around investigating a crime case study, which they take from the beginning right through to a courtroom environment.
Okay, so let me just jump to one of the questions. One of the questions, Debs, that has been asked here is, will this course help me become a police officer? Perhaps you would like to answer that one.
Well, I would hope that if my students were here, they would all agree with me and say, yes, it absolutely will. And it doesn't just help you become a police officer, it helps you plan your future studies to become a very well prepared student to walk into the police service. So there are, what's open to you is taking on a degree after this course, or you could join a police force as a young officer. But I think that the course elements and the units that are included really show you a broad spectrum of what's expected as a police officer.
And certainly, if you look at the entry requirements to become a police officer, the new, certainly within Norfolk and Suffolk Constabulary, who we work very closely with, in January or very soon, they will be launching their new apprenticeship scheme, and a requirement of that apprenticeship scheme is that you do have to have a level 3 qualification to apply for the police. So this qualification, whether you come on to do the uniform public services or the policing element, the policing element is very much geared for you going into the policing, but the uniform public services will get you there as well. So you've got 2 options there if you want to be a police officer. And I've actually recently been in touch with a couple of our students from our last year programme. One is about to start her police training with Suffolk Constabulary. She left us this title, she completed her course in June last year, and she's done a year as a special with Suffolk Constabulary, and she on the 1st of February will be starting her full-time officer training. We also have another who actually started directly, I think he left us in about June time, and in September actually started with the police, so he's been in the police for nearly 6 or 8 months now. So we've actually got students who've gone from there. Okay, somebody's asked a question about coming in for an interview. Okay, so at the moment, obviously with the current situation, unfortunately we can't meet you face to face, but what these staff are doing is you will have an interview, and it will be over the telephone, where they will phone you. Our interviews take place on a Monday evening, so if you are wanting to apply, you need to make sure you put your application in, and then Debs, Kerry, or one of the other staff from the course will give you a call, discuss through and do a telephone interview with you. So you won't actually have to come into college, because at the moment most of us, we are not in college at the moment, and we are all working mainly from home. So that will that is how our interviews are taking place at the moment. Okay, what type of work experience takes place on the level 3 courses? Carrie, would you like to answer that one, please?
Yes, so there are many opportunities. We have a work placement officer who works alongside with us and helps the students to find their work experience. But we do have opportunities that you can take part in. So we had a look at life with the Army, and the students actually stayed in the Army barracks for a few days over the half-term break, and they were able to wear the uniform, carry out tasks that the soldiers would take part in, learn about teamwork exercises, problem solving. They'd learn about drill, they'd do practical sessions, fitness, and they'd learn about discipline and conformity and obedience. So they'd literally live the life for a few days and learn what it is like. There are also other opportunities where you would go to the fire department and learn, and also wear some of the uniform and feel what it is like to be in that area and learn the skills and carry out some of the tasks that they would do. So you are expected to complete 40 hours of work experience in your own time. We encourage you to find the work experience yourself, which is related to the uniform services. However, we do have, like we said, our work placement officer there to help you with that, as well as the staff in the college. We have a work placement week, which usually coincides along before or after a half term in February, and you will still get your half term, as well as being able to have this time to complete some of your work experience hours. Sometimes people use experience in the cadets as well, if you are a member of any of the cadets, to help along with the work experience. So it's a good opportunity for you to get an insight of what it is like in the uniform services, the police, the army, fire service, to see what it is like. So if you have chosen to join one, perhaps you've made the decision, actually, it's not for me and I want to go on to something else, or it actually absolutely gave you the passion and the drive to go on further after the course. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, we have lots of links within the local area. We have links with Suffolk Fire Service, we have links with Norfolk, Suffolk and Cambridgeshire Police. We also have links with RAF Honington, strong links with RAF Honington, so we do a lot of the things there. But as Kerry said, definitely some of the onus is on you taking ownership. One of our college character strengths is ownership, so we do get you to take ownership of finding your own work experience. The other thing that we do, unfortunately we haven't been able to do it this year, and it is a favourite of my work experiences that we do, is the Christmas fair in Bury St Edmunds. So we help out steward and volunteering at the Christmas fair. It's such a lovely event, and it's also working in our local community as well. So that is one of my favourite events that we take part in, as work experience and volunteering within our course. And we've got a wonderful working relationship with Bury Town Council, and we do provide volunteers, so fingers crossed that will go ahead this year. So hopefully that's answered the couple of questions we've had there about work experience. Okay, I'm going to get each of you to make a contribution to this next question about how the course is assessed. So if I start off, and I'll let both of you give some examples from your assessment areas. But for myself, I teach the careers unit across the level 3 programme, and one method of assessment that I'm currently using with student that students have to take part in an interview. That is part of the assessment criteria. So at the moment, I am working with students and we are doing one-to-one interviews. So it will be a one-to-one interview. At the moment, we're using Teams to do those interviews. So students will, so it's not written work. Students will come prepared with, I will give them a set of questions, and then they will come along and we will have a professional discussion, an interview scenario for that that to cover that criteria. So that's just one way, and then the students then do an evaluation. Now for our courses, and this is probably quite different to a lot of courses that maybe you've looked at or other options that you've got, but we do not have any exams on our course. We work with an awarding body, which is NCFE. I'm sure you've heard of BTEC. NCFE is a very, very similar qualification to BTEC, but most of BTEC's courses introduced exams a couple of years ago. Now, we are very aware that people will probably choose to come to college because maybe they don't want that pressure of exams and to use exams, to have exams. So we have chosen to move to NCFE, where all of our work is assessed. So you're talking about over the course of 2 years on a level 3 course, that is 18 units that are assessed. So another method that I am using at the moment is students are planning a one-day expedition and a multi-day expedition. So with the hope that we're going to be able to go on an expedition later on in the year with our second year students. So part of their assessment is to plan that one day and that multi-day expedition. So what they are currently doing is, again, in pairs, they're working on those presentations, and they are actually doing physical presentations. So they're putting together a PowerPoint presentation, and then they are presenting that information. And again, at the moment, that is being presented over Teams. So it isn't all written work. Carrie, would you like to start?
So so obviously when you're learning about police work, there is elements of written work, and the written word is very important in police work. So we do have to assess written assignments, written essays, but we are trying to be diverse in how we measure success. So for instance, with drill, we've videoed actual performance, and with crime scene management, that would be a form of a presentation and a report. And students don't always work on their own either, so you can work as part of a small team and still be assessed. So it is varied, but there is written work involved, and the written word is taken very seriously.
Thanks, Debs. Carrie, would you like to? Sorry,
No,
Debs, you were going to.
No. Just taking a breath.
Okay, yeah. So as we said, we do have assessments, and it is written work. So all of our assessments are based on your assignment, which is written, but we have other aspects of that which you take part physically. As Deb said there, with hierarchy, you will take part in drill, and Debs will observe you. With your physical fitness unit, you will be expected to take part in physical fitness tests, where I will observe you and assess that within a witness statement. So you will take part in a number of assessments there. In your leadership assignment, you will also, as a team, you will plan a task or an event where you may work with other parts of the uniform services, but you work together and learn about teamwork, and then you will develop leadership skills throughout that, and you will be asked to take control of the situation and brief other students, and we will observe you, and that will be a witness statement as well. So you will have to write about it, but the main observation of what we will carry out will be the assessment on your ability and your leadership skills.
Debs, did you want to cover anything else?
No, I just wanted to. I'm sure, I don't know if anyone will ask this, but I'm quite big on creating professionalism and discipline within the college and within our department. And I think it's really important that you're prepared to be part of a team. The courses that we've got at the moment, especially the new students that we've got this year, have really grasped COVID and taken on those constraints in a positive way. And it's important that you're a positive person, and that that you're resilient to difficult situations, because at the end of the day, uniform services and policing, you have to deal with that on a daily basis. So I just wanted to mention, I've had a long conversation with a police cadet officer, and I think it might be really useful if you're thinking about joining the police service. There are available slots in police cadet units around the county. So that might be something you could do between now and joining us, that will really help you embed what you want to be in the future.
Okay, that quite leads us on nicely, because you talked about discipline there. So yes, we do have a uniform that
Yes,
we
we do.
expect our students to wear. And somebody has asked the question, do we have to buy a uniform? Is it expensive? Okay, so what we ask for at the beginning of the course, we ask for a contribution that not only goes towards your uniform, but goes towards our enrichment as well. And what I mean by enrichment is trips. So it pays for the coaches when we go out and about, when we're able to go out and about. So when we go so for instance, in the past at Christmas, we've taken, as part of a team building, we've taken students bowling as a little bit of an end of term celebration. I mentioned earlier that we are due to, and fingers crossed, we will be going to Snowdon later on this year with our second year students as part of their expedition skills. We will also try and get students out and about where we can. Now, obviously that incurs costs. So to cover those costs, we do ask at the beginning of the course for a contribution of around £100, but that obviously we will have to, just to give you a ballpark figure, it's about £100 to the beginning of the course, but again we'll have to make those assessments on what we can and can't do in the future. We've got a question here, what is the usual route into the police or prison service? Now my suggestion to you would be is to actually have a look on the police websites, have a look on the prison service website. Again, the police, you will join a police constabulary, so you would join Norfolk, you would join Suffolk, and there is a lot of information about their recruitment process. So I'm hoping I'm answering the question in the way that it's been asked, in that for certainly for the police, you need your level 3 qualification before you can join as a police officer, but there are also other routes into the police. If you are in the Norfolk area, you don't have PCSOs, but Suffolk has PCSOs, Cambridgeshire has PCSOs, Essex has PCSOs. So it might be, and that's police community support officers, that might be one route in, or it might be a police special might be another route in. As far as the prison service, you can join directly to the prison service, and it's each individual prison that does their own recruitment, so their recruitment. But if you look on the Home Office webpage, that will give you some idea about recruitment into the prison. So I hope that answers that question. We've also got another question here about public. Can I switch from public services to policing? Okay, so the answer to that question is no. So you either start on the public services course or the policing course. They are very, very similar courses. Okay, so the core units, and they're the units that you have to study, are exactly the same on both of those policing routes, both of those course routes. But you can't switch to one or the other. Once you are on one, that is the path you will take. Now, the public services has slightly different units to the policing. The policing units are very, very much policing, whereas the public services will look at military, will look at prison service, will look at border control. So there is that mixture on the public services, where the policing is very much just policing routes, because that is the career path that we are looking for you to gain and supporting you to gain at the end of that. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, course, mostly practical or theory. It is a lot of theory work. I think you'd agree, ladies. Yeah. It is mainly theory. There are elements of practical, as just been explained, but there is a lot of theory based in the course. How is teaching working with Corona?
Different. So just to give you a bit of an idea, so obviously we all have our own students, but we all teach each other's students as well. So various times of the day, we are still holding our lesson plans as they would be in the college. So for instance, today I had a lesson for 2 hours with my group, and then somebody would have a lesson with them later in the day, and it's all run on Teams, and it is starting to embed itself and run smoothly. So the lessons, the structure hasn't changed, but perhaps the way we teach has changed. So we are trying to be diverse in resources that we're using. We're becoming very quick to learn IT issues and fixing those problems. And obviously there are things that cause us an issue like Wi-Fi dropping out and things like that, but we overcome that, and all our lessons are recorded. So if a student can't get online, they can watch a lesson afterwards and can drop in when their Wi-Fi fixes. We have them working in small groups, in large groups, in different rooms, virtual rooms. So it's just a matter of trying to create a teaching space at home.
Yeah. We'll have a timetable as usual, so the students can still access all of the classes that they would be, so they're not missing out on teaching time. We record majority of our lessons. In fact, we aim to record all of our lessons so that if a student does have technical difficulty, they can go back to the recorded lesson and catch up with that. We are working hard to ensure that the students are protected with safeguarding, and the students have had a contract to sign there to ensure that they understand the regulations there. And also it is a positive environment for the students as well, because you're at home, you're not seeing anybody. It's a good opportunity to get online and for us to catch up with you to ensure that you're okay, as well as your PST. So I am seeing it as a positive as well as a challenge for staff and students.
And we're also offering one-to-one support with students as well. So we've got students who need one-to-one support. We'll be having one-to-one support with students over the course of the time. So that support is there. So yeah, I actually think teaching is working very well given the circumstances. And I personally am actually really enjoying teaching my lessons online. It's got some benefits to teaching online, and we're using some different methods within our teaching as well. So in some ways it is quite exciting. Yes, we are all can't wait to get back into the classroom, and hopefully that's going to be really soon, and to be able to see one another. But I actually think overall the staff are doing really well with getting the lessons out. Now we've got somebody's asking about what a normal timetable would look like. Would Carrie, would you like to talk about a normal timetable?
A normal timetable in what used to be a normal situation.
Yeah,
a normal time. So you're on a full-time course, which means that you will be coming into college 3 days a week. It's still a full-time course, so you would normally have around, so sometimes you have with each lecturer a 2-hour session, so you won't just be stuck with one teacher. You get a variety, and we're all there to change it up for you and make it interesting. So you could have a 2-hour lesson, and then you would go into another lesson with another lecturer learning a different unit. So we all teach different units at different times, so you'll have your variety within the day, and you have a break, and then you may have another hour or 2-hour session depending on what you're learning. You might have your physical fitness session, so I'll take you over to the gymnasium and we will carry out a practical fitness session there, which I think is great in the afternoon to just relieve a bit of stress and enjoy yourself, pick up some morale. You also have some CD time, which is what we call course director time. You'll have a couple of hours or maybe just 1 hour with your course director in the week, and that's an opportunity there for you to discuss anything that you would like to with your course director, and for them to explain a few things for you and some additional training. You also have assignment support with your course director, so that's time there you can have some one-to-one and discuss any assignments that you are struggling with, or if you have any further questions. Depending on whether you're taking your English or maths, you will also attend those, but that will not be an extra day on your timetable. We have arranged that so that you don't have to come into college on an extra day. So usually students will go to directed study, while those who are doing English and maths will go to their lessons as well. Anything else you want to add?
So all I was going to say is I'm not sure you actually mentioned it was over 3 days of the week.
I think I did. Yeah, I did say 3 days a week.
So your course it's timetable day 3 days of the week. It's a total of 16 hours over those 3 days. And that's made up of those, so 16 hours contact over those 3 days. We start at 9:15 in the morning. and our college day goes on to the latest time that you are likely to finish is about 4:45. So for those of you who do live a little bit further distance away from college, you're going to have that travel from college. Please just be aware that you might need to just check on the transport situation to make sure but most college transport is around the college timetable. So that is what your normal timetable. So 3 days a week. Our courses are in different days at the moment. We haven't got the timetable in plan for September. That is a job that I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. So that would be notified to you later on in the year, but obviously that would be notified when you start and we know exactly which course once you've got your GCSE results. Access to the gym has been mentioned on there. So Kerry, you've already mentioned there about the fact that you get an hour a week in the gym.
Yeah, so once a week you will, in your class, we will go over to the gym and we'll have an hour there. So it will be working towards a fitness unit that you will carry out, but also we will continue that throughout the year. So even when you finish your physical fitness unit, we will still continue to take that hour once a week and take part in physical activities. So you might get the opportunity to play sport, or we might do a hip workout, which you will learn all about and understand what you will be improving within that time.
Or the bleep test.
Yeah, which I mentioned earlier on. You'll be carrying out, well, part of your fitness unit, you will have to carry out a bleep test, and it will be in relation to the uniform service that you want to join. So you would research the entry requirement for the uniform service, and then you will carry out a bleep test and see what level you are at and what you need to work at in order to get to that level of entry.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so somebody has asked a question, and this is actually a really good question. How would it help me with joining the military in an engineering role? Would I be better off doing an engineering course or a public services course? Yeah. I am going to answer that question very honestly and say you would be better off doing an engineering course. If you want to be an engineer, you need to be doing an engineering course. The public services, particularly if we're talking about the military, covers a whole host of different employment areas. And I would be saying exactly the same thing. If you want to be a chef, you need to go and do a catering course. We won't touch catering. And the other area that this is also not suitable for is anybody who wants to be a paramedic. If you're thinking about being a paramedic, you need to go and do a health and social care course. This would not be the right course for you. So if you know you want to go into the military as an engineer, go and do an engineering course. If you know you want to go into the military but not really sure what you want to do, then our course is the right course to do. But if you want to do engineering, if you want to do maybe IT technician or something within the military, then go and do your IT course. Get the core skills that you need for the job that you want to do. So I hope that answers that question. But if you're not really sure what you want to do in the military and you just think that that's something that interests you, then by all means, the public services that we can explore the different areas. But if you know what you want to do, you really need to be gaining those skills for the job that you actually want to do. Uniform. There is a presentation on the college website and the uniform is shown on there, but basically the uniform is a polo shirt and sweatshirt, and we just ask you to wear tidy black jeans to go, or dark jeans to go with that. When do we have to decide if we want to do public services or policing? Okay, so from that perspective, you can make that decision in September when you arrive. So we need you to apply now for one or other of the courses. It's all within our same department, so we have that gift to be able to move you from one course to another. So if you decide that you want to go down the policing route, and it's definitely policing that you want to do, we can put you on that policing course in September, Or if you then come to us and say, actually, no, I'd like to do the slightly more general course, then you can go on to, we can put you on the public services course, but we can do that and up until the point when you actually join us in September. How many days in college? I think we've now answered that question. So it's 3 days in college. Debs, perhaps you'd like to answer this next question, please. How would you branch to different sectors in the police force?
Okay, so there are some police forces that aren't accepting, but that changes all the time, accepting detective students, but that changes all the time. So normally you join the police force as a police officer, and you do what is known as a probation period, which is normally 2 years in uniform. So you get a real broad basis of policing in general. And then really it's about you seeing and experiencing other departments, for instance, dog handling, firearms, traffic, CID, forensics. Well, not forensics, because that's normally a civilian role, but financial investigator, murder investigation. All of those departments work on a higher level of intelligence and training. So you have to do courses to join those departments, and you normally have to be interviewed by a board of 2 or more people to be accepted in moving across to a different department. So when I changed from being a uniformed officer to being a detective, I had to sit aboard with 2 senior officers, and then I had to do a course that was 10 weeks, and then I had to do a written exam. That has changed. It's not a written exam anymore. It's a multiple choice exam, and the course is only 5 weeks. But yes, you can, once you're in, you then decide to make those decisions depending on your promotion to what rank and what specialisation you want to have.
But saying that, also there is people who go through their whole careers who don't necessarily specialise in a particular area, and they just remain a uniformed police officer working in neighbourhoods or working on response, don't they?
Absolutely. You don't have to change, you don't have to move, but it's good for the soul to try something new.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Debs. Okay, I think we've answered the question about how many days in and out of college. So you've got 3 days in college, and then you have 2 days out of college. And those 2 days, with regards to you might want to get paid employment, we do not recommend that you get you take on any more than about 12 hours of paid employment outside of college, because the assessments will need to be completed in your own personal time. So that they won't be all completed in college time. You will need that time outside of college, and that's what those 2 extra days are for you to be doing work from home, and doing research from home. Picking police or public services, again, you don't need to worry about that. We can do that right up until the end. If you've already applied for policing and now think you might want to do public services, or the other way round, when we phone you for your interview, just let whoever it is who phones you that actually that is the course you want to do, and we will make a note on your application that you want to do policing or public services. It's all part of our same department. We all work together, we all teach on all the same courses, so it really isn't a problem whether you decide to go onto the policing. It helps us for planning purposes if we know exactly which course you want to go on, but it really doesn't matter. As I say, you can make that decision right up until the end. So Kerry, a question for you around physical fitness. What is the standards of the physical fitness sessions that you do? Oh, she's mean.
Ever heard of the terminology beasted? I'm just kidding. No, so basically I understand that some students have come straight from school and they haven't taken part in physical activity in their own time. You're not expected to do it when you're at school. Yes, you have PE, but that's just a standard lesson unless you're taking it for your GCSE. So I'm not going to expect you to be able to do 20 press-ups straight away. However, I do expect you to put in maximum effort and work towards that. You do have a physical fitness entry requirement for any uniform service that you are going to join. For example, if you were to join the police, you'd have to get to level 5.6 on the bleep test. All right, some students do struggle to get to that. Some students can get to level 13. So everybody has different ability, but I expect maximum effort. And if you are struggling, to then take part in some exercise in your own time. But like I said, you will be doing taking part in your physical fitness unit, where you are expected to carry out a 6-week training plan that you write yourselves based on your own ability and your end goal, which we do as well work on the character strengths there, because you will have ambition and you take ownership on that yourself. So I would expect you to take part in physical activity yourself. We'll do HIIT workout, we can do circuits, bleep test, and then some sport just to change it up a little bit for a bit of morale.
Can I just sing your praises, Kerry, in talking about working online? So because obviously we're all working from home and we're expecting our students to do physical fitness in their own time in a safe way, we're actually trying to celebrate the week by getting through it with Kerry doing a Joe Wick session, and all students can join, and it's been really successful, and we hope it grows to have the whole department doing it.
It was fun. I was expecting my cat and dog to join, but they chickened out.
So yeah, so we will work with you. We're here to support you to get you to those physical goals. So we will help and support you. And it's not just the physical fitness element of it either. In order to be physically fit, you need to eat healthily. You need to have healthy routines in your daily life. So Carrie, as part of her sessions, and actually it's a thread because we have all been ex-military, ex-public services. It is something that we are all quite passionate about, getting physically fit and getting through those entry requirements to join the military, or to join the police, or to join the fire service, wherever you want to go. So it's something that we as a team are actually actively encourage, and we really support our students through physical fitness, because we know some of you struggle and it isn't easy. I personally am struggling at the moment to get out and go and do some running with the current things. So about free access, no, so the gym that we use is Abbeycroft Leisure Centre. That is where all our fitness sessions take place. They do offer a student rate on the gym. So if you go onto their website, you will be able to have a look, but they do offer a student rate on the gym. So you wouldn't get access to the gym in your own free time. By all means, go to the gym in your own free time, but that would be at your own expense.
We actually do have our own section, don't we? Our own fitness suite that we use ourselves.
Yeah,
not with the members of the public.
Yeah, so we've got our own fitness suite in there. Okay, I think we're getting near to the final questions on here. So can we still get into the police force while taking the public services course? Okay, so the answer to that question is no, because you actually have to have the level 3 qualification to get into the police force. So you must have completed it, plus the fact you have to be 18. And also be aware, this isn't across the whole of the country, but for Norfolk and Suffolk Police, you must also hold a driving licence. Because of the rural location for Norfolk and Suffolk, they require you to they require you to have the driving licence as well. So there are several entry requirements, and I would urge you to look on your chosen, whichever constabulary that you are thinking about joining. I would urge you to look at their entry requirements, and they do change. They do change quite regularly, because Norfolk and Suffolk, as of about September, will accept applications from 17.5-year-olds, but you must have the driving licence and you must have that level 3 qualification. So yes, we will help and support you with that process. And we were hoping in February, so February half term, we were hoping to run a weeks-long work experience run by Norfolk and Suffolk Constabulary. Now, obviously, because of the current situation and lockdown, we're not able to run that work experience, but we're looking to replan that later on in the year. But that would have been the police recruitment department coming in, bringing officers in. They were going to run through the whole recruit process with our students to help and support them go through. So yes, we can help you, but you wouldn't be able to get into the police until you had finished your application, your course, because you are required to provide the evidence that you have a level 3 qualification. So I hope that answers that question. Debs, you were going to add something in there, I think.
No, I think we're quite lucky with Suffolk, because Suffolk Constabulary is only one of 2 constabularies in the whole country that run internships. So in your second year of the course in policing, as soon as you turn 18, you can apply for an internship, and we support that and work very closely with Laura, who runs that in Suffolk Constabulary, which means you could do your work experience and earn money and work for the police service around your course that you have with us. So we're quite lucky to have that facility for you.
Okay, Maddie has replied to the last one there. You do need to make an application. So to join the course, we need applications put in. The sooner you get your application into us, the sooner you'll be allocated a place for an interview time slot. And they happen on a Monday evening. So every once a month, we have an evening where we are interviewing our prospective students. But obviously, if there's any further questions that anybody wants to ask or hasn't been answered this evening, my email contacts are on the college website. So please contact me. I'd just like to say thanks very much to Kerry and Debs for joining me this evening to answer your questions. And thank you very much to all of you. And we very much look forward to welcoming you on a course at West Suffolk College in September, or maybe the September after, depending on when you'll be ready to apply for us. But please get your applications in, and then we can get you interviewed and get the interview process underway and get your place on the course offered to you. Thank you very much for listening, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.